day, everyone. Welcome to Just Omer. And my name is Omer Ahern Jr. And this is my periodic report to the people of Grafton County, specifically Grafton County Commissioner District 3, because I am going to be back for another 2-year term as the county commissioner elected from District 3, which includes the towns in the eastern and southern part of Grafton County, as far north as Campton and Warren, Dorchester, and over to Grafton and Bridgewater, and then down to Ashland and Plymouth and Holderness and Bristol, of course, and the other towns of Wentworth and certainly Hebron. So there's about 16 or 17 towns in this District 3. And I serve with 2 other commissioners, the chairperson of the newly established or newly formed Grafton County Board of Commissioners is once again Commissioner Wendy Piper from County Commissioner District 1, which encompasses the towns of Hanover, Lebanon, and Enfield. And again, Commissioner Piper is the chairperson. And then the third commissioner is newly elected. Her name is Martha McLeod. Martha McLeod. She represents District 2, which are the towns in the northern part of Grafton County and the western part of Grafton County. Littleton, Bath, Orford, and Piermont, and of course North Haverhill, and all those towns in the northern and western part of Grafton County. And the county commissioners are elected from the people of their districts within Grafton County. And our job is to carry out the provisions of the New Hampshire RSA, Revised Statute Annotated, that allows and sets up county government here within the state of New Hampshire. This statute goes back to the 1870s, and it establishes the county nursing homes, the county houses of correction, where there's a jail and the House of Correction, which is altogether, that's known as the Department of Corrections. And in Grafton County, I believe we are the last county in New Hampshire, there are 10 counties in New Hampshire, we're the last county in New Hampshire to still have an active farm operation. We have a very successful dairy operation where we sell our milk to Agrimark, and that brings income into the county, helps to provide some good opportunities for the inmates from the House of Correction to work on the farm and learn some good work habits. And we also grow vegetables, potatoes, and winter squash and corn, sweet corn, that we sell during the summertime and the fall. And we also have chickens and pigs, and so we also sell eggs and we sell piglets. And our piglets are very, very popular among several folks here in Grafton County, and we sell those piglets, and that brings in some more revenue. We have been selling some of our dairy cows because we have some labor shortage issues, and so we've cut back a little bit on the dairy herd. And in one of our reports this week, we got a report from our interim farm manager, Ben White, and he reported that we sold some cows in the last couple of weeks, some wonderful Holstein dairy cows, and one of them was sold into the state of Pennsylvania. And so I consider that a very good thing for Grafton County, and that speaks very highly for our interim farm manager, Ben White. And he's also works with Glenn Libby, who is the retired superintendent of corrections at Grafton County. But Glenn has been helping out on the farm for the last 3 years. and also Sergeant Griffin from the Department of Corrections, who kind of supervises the inmates from the House of Correction that work on the farm. So that's the third part of county government. The nursing home, we have a 150-bed nursing home in Grafton County, but right now, because of the restrictions caused by the federal government and the state government on the ratio of nursing staff to residents, people that we take care of in the nursing home, we're not able to fill all 135 beds in our nursing home, and so we have budgeted for 100 residents in our nursing home. And I'll tell you, trying to maintain the nursing ratio, keeping enough nurses, RNs, LNAs, CNAs, that's very difficult in this time of our country. So you've heard this on the radio all over the nation, all over our republic. Hospitals are having all kinds of problems. You've got some nurses in, I guess, New York City that are out on strike, and hopefully that will not happen here in Grafton County. And the commissioners over the last couple of years have taken steps to try to give some extra care, some extra consideration to our nursing staff, as well as other employees at Grafton County during this pandemic. Employees in the maintenance and housekeeping departments, and employees in our Department of Corrections, our corrections officers, and definitely our nursing staff in the nursing home. So because of the stress that's been going on because of the pandemic, we're trying to be as generous as we can, but still stay within our budgets, and so that we're not overwhelming and overburdening our taxpayers, because we understand that our taxpayers, are very, very important, and they've got obligations out there. They got family obligations and mortgages and real estate taxes and car payments. So we're trying to be as balanced as we can in our work at county government. And one other important element in county government in New Hampshire is the county delegation. Now, the county delegation is made up of all the elected state representatives from within the county. And Representative George Sykes, again, was elected chairman of the Grafton County delegation back in early December, when the delegation was reorganizing after the elections in November. And then the delegation as a whole are the final decision makers on the county budget. County commissioners will present a budget, and I'll be talking about that hopefully within a few minutes. But the county commissioners will present a budget to the delegation for their consideration and review, usually by the end of May, middle of May, because the delegation has to make a decision voting either to accept the budget or deny the budget before the 1st of July, which is the beginning of the fiscal year. So that's another very important part of county government, is the budget. And again, that's finally that's the final the final decision maker on that is the county delegation. Okay, so the county commissioners met yesterday, January 10th, and we normally meet every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock in the Commissioners' Conference Room up on the second floor of the Administration Building on the Dartmouth College Highway in North Haverhill in Grafton County. And they're open meetings, and if you would like to attend the meeting in person, you're welcome to do that. Also, if you want to attend via Zoom, you can go to the county website, just DuckDuckGo, Grafton County, New Hampshire, and you should get to the website and you'll see the information. You can also call the county commissioner's office and talk with our administrative assistant, Samantha Norcross, and she could also give you the information that you need in order to attend the meeting via Zoom. You have to have a computer, but you know, if you have the right computer hardware and things and software, you can certainly attend the meeting. And if you have any questions during the course of the meeting, you can, you know, raise your hand and be recognized by the chairperson, Commissioner Piper, and we're tickled pink to respond to any questions that we can to the members of the public. So again, we started meeting yesterday, and the first person on the agenda was Ben White, the interim farm manager. And Mr. White, Ben has been working as an employee at the farm at Grafton County for more than 10 years. And Ben has been doing a fantastic job with the county dairy herd. He has introduced some brown and white cows to our dairy operation, but that brings a little bit, you know, bit of a different mix to the milk that we sell to Agrimark. But no, Ben has done a fantastic job, and we really appreciate the hard work that he has been doing. So he presented his January 2023 farm report, and he says that currently they are milking 55 cows, averaging 75 pounds of milk per cow. They produced 113,828 pounds of milk in the month of December. The components were 4.33% butterfat and 3.26% protein. The milk pay price that we received from Agrimark in November was $27.57 per pound for our Grafton County farm milk. So that's a good source of income. The second item, he said we have 2 sows that are confirmed pregnant, and they are due in the next, in the next 5 weeks, a little earlier than last year. And Ben said that they're trying to spread out the birth of these new piglets over the spring instead of all at once, because we have a very strong demand for our piglets. And last couple of years, we have not been able to meet the demand for the Grafton County piglets. So we're trying to recognize that, and we're trying to increase the number of piglets that we have. However, as the commercials from 30 and 40 years ago said, you can't fool Mother Nature. So Mother Nature has a lot of control over how many piglets are born at the Grafton County farm. Right now, this is an issue, item number 3. We now have 5 inmates from the House of Correction that are assisting the county with the everyday farm work. For quite a period of time over the last 2.5 years, we've been lucky if we've had 1 inmate from the House of Correction. Part of that is because the courts were kind of closed down during much of the pandemic time period, and then bail reform has caused a lot of challenges for our Grafton County farm operations. But so there was a time period there where we were afraid that we weren't going to have any inmates out of the House of Correction to be able to help out on the farm. So having 5 inmates, normally we have about 8 to 10 inmates working on the farm, helping with the milking, helping with feeding the cows and keeping the stalls clean and things like that, and working in the vegetable gardens when that happens in the spring, summer, and fall. So, and again, we appreciate the good supervision and the good help and the good work from Sergeant Griffin from the Department of Corrections. Sergeant Griffin does a fantastic job cooperating with Ben and the other employees at the farm operation. And item number 4, believe it or not, is the farm is looking for some potential help to do more farm work. He does have an interview coming up with a young person, and he says that young individual looks good, but he hasn't had the interview yet. So he's working on that. The item 5 is they're working on the maintenance of some of the equipment and things in the barn that they can fix on site while the weather is cold and they're not outside working. So that's the quick report from the Grafton County Farm Manager, interim Farm Manager Ben White. The next item on the agenda was a quick request from Tom Elliott, the Department of Corrections superintendent, and he had a request to because he has the money in the budget, because they have quite a few openings at the Department of Corrections for corrections officers. And so because of the extra long hours that many of our corrections officers have had to work over the last 2.5, almost 3 years, due to the COVID situation, the pandemic, and not having enough employees, we have really stretched the capabilities and the capacities of many of our employees at the county complex, especially the Department of Correction officers. So he's asked to allow some bonuses for some of those that haven't been received any bonuses, and so the commissioners did approve his request for the bonuses. After that, the county attorney, the elected county attorney, Marcy Hornick, came in, and she came in basically to introduce herself to the new county commissioner, Martha McLeod, and what County Attorney Hornick did was to go over the operations of the county attorney's office and who are the various county attorneys, who are the deputy county attorneys, who is the office administrator, who are the victims witness program staff people, who are the lead assistant county attorneys, and who are the assistant county attorneys. So she went over her staff at the Grafton County Attorney's Office, and she answered several questions from the commissioners and from Commissioner McLeod. And some of the things we were talking about were some of the concerns with bail reform, and that's how things are being influenced in the criminal prosecution of cases. The next person on the agenda was Jim Oakes, the maintenance department superintendent, and he normally has quite a report. But what he was talking about on yesterday was some legislation that has been introduced into the New Hampshire legislature to make some opportunities for the county, Grafton County, to become more self-sufficient with regard to some of its utilities. And some of the legislation that is in there is to allow the county, under the statute, to be able to produce its own domestic water supplies. And the other thing that we're working on is allowing the county to provide its own septic sewage disposal. And the third issue that we've been trying to work on over the last 4 to 6 years is trying to have the county be able to produce its own electricity, whether that's with slightly used nuclear fuel, SUNF, or with solar panels, or going with alternate energy, electrical energy providers. These are things that the county is definitely looking into in order to be able to more economically provide for these three major financial impacts on the county budget. So he was talking about the proposed legislation, and we discussed maybe there might be a need to do some changes, make some amendments to those pieces of legislation. But the commissioners, through Commissioner Piper, the chairperson, is working with the sponsors of this legislation from Grafton County to make sure that we can, have as smooth an opportunity in the legislature down in Concord to get some of this legislation passed to help us. One of the other things that was brought up is the siting of the water wells. The county has about 750 acres of woodlands, and where we think there should be some good opportunities to set some water wells. And so we're looking into that, and you talked about the first water well that we put in about a month and a half ago. That had a very good amount of flow, but it's not fully what the county needs to meet its operations, what Grafton County needs to make. So we need to drill at least maybe 2 more wells, but because of rules and regulations of the state government, we have to keep getting permission from them to do things. So we got a further report on that. The next big item that's happening is we're going to start working on the county budget in March, and so we've started to notify the department heads and the elected officials that they need to start putting together their budgets. What are they going to need in order to run their part of the county or their agency within Grafton County. And actually, historically, most of these department heads and elected officials have been working on their budget already for the last 2 or 3 months. It's kind of an ongoing process. So we anticipate starting to discuss the budget in early March. And we do have a proposed schedule for budgetary meetings when we meet with the department heads and meet with the elected officials. And certainly those meetings are going to also be open to the public. For example, we'll be meeting with the Human Resources Department, UNH Cooperative Extension, the Alternative Sentencing Department. Of course, the commissioners have some financial obligations. The Conservation District, Department of Corrections, the Farm, the Maintenance Department, the Dispatch Center, the Sheriff's Department, of course, the Nursing Home, the County Attorney Victim Witness Program, Information Technology, the Grafton County Registry of Deeds, Human Services, and Social Services. So each one of these departments and state elected or county elected officials will have an item in the county budget. So this has been this is going to be set up here beginning in March. We also discussed on yesterday a potential round 5, what we call round 5 of the ARPA funding opportunities. We still have a little bit of money left from the ARPA funds that the federal government distributed to Grafton County. According to the county administrator, Julie Libby, we have about $6.3 million remaining. But these 2 pages are requests from the various department heads and elected officials to purchase other items with ARPA money, and the commissioners have to review each one of their requests and then make a recommendation to the county delegation executive committee, because the county delegation has decided that the final decision with regard to any of the ARPA requests for funding has to be made by the county delegation executive committee, chaired by Representative George Sykes. So the 3 biggest items right now that would pretty much eat up most all the ARPA money that's left is looking into just the design of the new courthouse. The county courthouse that's up there now has been around since the 1970s. It does have some structural issues and concerns, and we had a study done about a year and a half ago by some architects and some engineers, and they've made a couple of recommendations. Pretty thick report from the architects and the engineers, and ultimately they've suggested that it's cheaper to build a new county courthouse than it is to make all the repairs that are necessary and bring the present existing courthouse up to code and meet all the needs that are there. So that's a $1.5 million request just to do the courthouse design. The second item, and this is under the heading of the complex, the county complex in general. The next item is the municipal wells that I was discussing. We're spending a little bit of money to do the siting of the wells, identify where to put the wells, but to put in the wells and to put in the plumbing in order to get to all the buildings and all the rooms in the nursing home and so on. The initial request for money on that is $2.5 million. And then the third item is the municipal septic system that we're trying to put in, and that just to put that in is going to be a $1.3 million project. So that's $5.3 million right there. We have a request from the Mascoma Community Healthcare for some further funding to help them get through the next 6 months or so as they negotiate with another healthcare facility provider within the county. They're looking for $250,000. But again, there's requests from the nursing home, the maintenance department, alternative sentencing, Department of Corrections, dispatch center, the farm, and the requests just go on and on and on. Okay, it looks like I'm out of time. Again, we're in a new year, and I again want to welcome Commissioner Martha McLeod to the board. I want to thank Commissioner Linda Lauer for her 9 years of service. And if you have any questions of me, Omer Ahern Jr., Grafton County Commissioner, District 3, you can certainly email me at omer.ahern.jr@gmail.com. And my phone number is 603-764-6024. And just give me a call if I'm in. I'll take your call. If I'm not in, I have voicemail, so leave a message. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the folks here at PBTV for allowing me to make these periodic reports of Just Omer. Thank you. God bless the great Granite State of New Hampshire, and God bless America. Take care and be